It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and our next guest is originally from Clare, and I've got a mental blank. I can't remember which Clare side he played his juniors with. I'll ask him in a minute. But he's running around with Woodville West Torrens at the moment. He's just come back from the state trip where South Australia knocked off WA, and we're welcome back to the program today, Riley Boogie Knight. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Jace. Thanks for having me on, mate. It's always a pleasure.
South or North Clare?
South Clare, mate. The Demons, the one and only.
Yes, yeah. Well, they're off at the moment, running around playing at Blythe, I think, while their ground gets redeveloped. You've been back home lately?
I haven't. Actually heading up on Sunday, though, to catch up with Mum and Dad. So, yeah, there's a massive redevelopment going on there. Both South clubs and the community of Clare have come together in massive redevelopment, which is going to be awesome for the community and for both clubs. So, unfortunately, we've had to relocate this year to Blythe, but it's going to be worth it in the end when the oval redevelopment's all completed and we've got state-of-the-art facilities there to use every weekend.
Bloody oath! And I'll tell you what, I think they won they're up and about at the moment. The Demons, I reckon they won the Derby last week, didn't they?
They did. Yes, they did indeed. The Noel Smith Cup has returned home, so yes, it was a big win for them. And from what I saw, it was some pretty good celebrations on Saturday night.
I'll bet. Hey, when the time comes to hang them up at SANFL level, any thoughts of heading back there and having a game for South Clare or anywhere else in the country? I mean, it is the done thing. There's a lot of good reasons as to why people do it, but, I mean, South Clare is clearly still where your heart is.
Yeah, definitely. I've always said I would like to get back and play a year of footy with South, and, at what point that is, I'm not too sure, but, South was where my footy career all started and I owed them a lot, so to be able to get back and provide a little bit of service at the end of my career is something that I always want to do, and hopefully I can drag a few mates with me and have a good year there. So, yeah, it's always on the cards, but, it depends on how long I end up staying in the sample for, mate, and where everything takes me from there. So, yeah.
Well, there's no reason to move on from the sandful at the moment. First of all, your Eagles are flying. They're going okay. A bit of a spanner in the works with, an AFL-heavy Adelaide Crows on Friday night. I got along and watched this game and called it from the stand, and you're outstanding again, mate. I think I even managed to sneak you into the votes.
Thanks, mate. It's always nice to get a few votes. But, we're going all right at the moment. We've had a big change in our list. We've had a lot of turnover again. We've got a lot of young kids. I think at the moment, about 70% of our list is under the age of 22. So we've got a lot of juniors coming through, which is good, which is obviously not good for me because it makes me one of the senior boys at the club now. So get the old fossil title now. But, we're going all right. We're playing some good footy. Unfortunately, ran into a red-hot Adelaide on Friday night. But, we're going well. We're playing some really good footy. Awesome to be able to play the first historic game at Oval Avenue under lights on Friday, which was amazing for the club and a huge success. So, looking forward to a few more good games in the near future.
It's not the first time the lights have come on there at Oval Avenue, and you were talking about the South Clare redevelopment before, but how good is, I keep calling it Woodville Oval, but it's Morn Team Kia Oval. It's looking absolutely outstanding at the moment. The playing surface, I reckon, is the best in the comp, and the lights just set it off. It was a really good night on Friday night.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job. Oval Avenue is always a great place to play footy, and now obviously with the new lights all installed and everything like that, it's a great atmosphere for kids to come along and families to come along and have a look at the footy. We've got great club room facilities now. We've got a great oval, like you said. It's exciting for juniors and for everyone playing footy at Woodville West Torrens at the moment. It's great.
So playing against the Crows on Friday night, obviously there would be a lot of people in that team that you know very, very well. Best sledge for the night, who did it belong to? Was it from you or to you?
Well, when Riley O'Brien was actually having his set shot, I was into him a little bit about dropping it from his nose and trying to remind him what his first couple of kicks were at AFL level, where they came off at right angles off of his ankle. So I was trying to get him off, but the big fella put it straight through the middle and didn't even blink an eyelid. So, yeah, it's always good fun playing those boys. It's great to see a lot of the young boys that when I was finishing my career at Adelaide, they're starting to now hit their straps. So, it's great to be able to play footy against those boys. And I was just saying off air before that Matty Wright housed me when I first got to the club, and to play footy against him now and have him still rolling around the sample is great. So, always good fun playing the Adelaide boys.
Yeah, well, the crowd there at Oval Avenue, as you mentioned, that's the one thing that I've been hugely surprised by, having a bit more to do with the Eagles this year, is just how vocal that crowd can get. you forget where you are sometimes, particularly in that stand where the coaches sit and whatnot. I don't know how they can hear themselves think from time to time. It's difficult to call a game when it's a Friday night and everyone heads to that stand. Can you notice that on the ground when you play at home compared to other venues? I reckon it's probably the loudest venue in the SANFL right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a good atmosphere at Woodville. I think the way that everything's set up there, it enhances the crowd vocals. But it's obviously a great place to play footy. And when we hit the front, or we get close like we did at 3/4 time on Friday night, you can definitely hear the crowd and get them involved. So it's always a great place to play footy there.
Hey, let's talk about the state trip you went on to WA and knocked off the Sandgropers over there, picked up the trophy and had a bit of fun in the change rooms too. I've seen some footage of that. But what's those trips like to go on now as, I won't say... how do I phrase this without offending you? One of the eldest statesmen of the competition, perhaps. I'll go with that. What's it like to go on those trips now? You're 27 years old, getting towards the back end. You're right in the prime of your career, to be honest. But what's it like to go on those trips and still perform at the next level up?
Oh, it's great. It's, obviously I played in the one last year here in Adelaide, and this year was a little bit different. Obviously, going away as a group and spending 3 or 4 days with each other was really special. I think it's quite a unique circumstance playing state football. I mean, you all come together and you're playing against players that you have a great rivalry with on a Saturday, and to come together and play as teammates for such a special game is what really makes a trip. And to be able to play football with the likes of Speeners and Wiggs and Ramseys and these type of players is, something that I find really special. And that's the one thing that I love about state football is that it just brings a lot of your, weekend enemies and your weekend rivals together, and you actually get to play football with them and see how talented these footballers are. So it's always a great trip and a great experience.
There are gun footballers running around in state leagues at the moment. You're playing alongside a lot of them at the Eagles. There's plenty getting around in the SANFL. The Waffle is exactly the same. It was a tight game. There was only a goal in it. So they matched you stroke for stroke, so to speak. But when you look across the border, and I know you've never played for a Victorian club or had much to do over there, but when you look across the border at what they've done to the VFL, by golly, by gosh, you just wonder who allowed that to happen to that state league. It's just a licorice all sorts over there at the moment, and I'm not sure how you would even pick a VFL side out of, 22 clubs? Yeah,
it's obviously really sad to see what's happened to the VFL. The state league, or the Sample pride themselves of being the best state league outside of the AFL, and I think it means something to play Sample football and to play even Waffle and those type of competitions. So to now have the VFL obviously transformed into almost an AFL seconds squad now with 22 teams involved, it's quite a nightmare and quite a headache for VFL supporters and lifelong traditional state league supporters. So it's obviously difficult, but at the same time you can see why. In the VFL they had so many listed players running around, and obviously was sort of ruining the competition a little bit. So you can understand why they've had to move it and adjust it moving forward. But it's obviously really sad and disappointing to see the conclusion of the VFL and what it is now. So it's a bit difficult.
Hey, mate, I'll let you get back to it in a tick, but I have to ask you this. I think I ask this every time we chat, but there might be a new AFL club popping up in Tassie soon. You're pretty established in Adelaide, but I have no idea. I've said it before, and I'm on record as saying it, and I'll keep saying it. I have no idea why you're still not on the Crows list, but you could easily play at AFL level. There's many players that are running around at the Eagles and at SANFL level and at Waffle level, as we've just pointed out, that could go around at AFL level. They're going to be looking for another 40-odd AFL players. Is your hat still in the ring, or are you just out?
No, mate, I'm done with AFL. I am quite settled off field at the moment. I'm really enjoying my football with Woodville West Torrens, and that boat sailed for me, mate. But it's obviously very exciting. Hopefully, the Tasmania AFL team can be incepted. There's a lot of great Tasmanian footballers rolling around in the AFL at the moment, so I think they deserve an opportunity to have an AFL side. So it'd be interesting to see who and what can get that going ahead. But I'll be definitely out of that, mate. I will be just enjoying my football here in SA.
Oh, good. All right. Well, actually, I said I had one more for you, but I lied. Where's Ballandon going in the mid-season draft? Can you tell me that?
I would say he's going anywhere, mate. He's good enough to. I can't believe that he's still rolling around in the sample and was let go from Brisbane. He's one of the most talented big men I've ever played with. His skills and his kick is unbelievable, and he's just an absolute competitor. I mean, we've had to utilise him in a different role this year, and he's absolutely taken that role to a new level. And I'm just excited and hoping that he gets another opportunity because he does deserve it. And wherever he ends up, they're going to be a lucky club because I can see him having a huge influence at any club in the AFL. So, going to have to hold my breath and wait and see where he ends up, mate. Unfortunately. Well,
let's hope he stays at Oval Avenue, but the chances of that are unlikely. I think you're dead right. But, mate, always great catching up for a chat. We'll check in again in the future, but good luck with your beloved Woodville West Torrens Eagles for the remainder of the season. I'm sure we'll see you playing finals footy again, and thanks for joining us on the Sports Fix, mate.
No problem, Joe. It's always a pleasure, mate. Thanks again.